To begin our asanas today, we are going to begin with some breathing, which we will start with in Shavasana on our backs. So you can bring your legs in front of you and keep a long spine as you come down into a lying position. You can use your pillow under your head for comfort. Locating the dens point, which is between C1 and C2 bones. If there was a pencil going through your ears and then from your nose to the back of your head, they would meet at this dens point. Imagine pushing the dens back into the ground, gently displacing the head and bringing the chin closer to the chest. Opening up the chest by bringing the shoulder blades together and placing your hands on your sides with your palms facing down for a grounded asana, or facing towards the ceiling for a more receptive asana. You can gently tilt your pelvis as if you were spilling a bucket of water towards your belly button to lengthen the back and create space in the lower lumbar. And just find a comfortable position of the legs. When you have settled in this position, we'll move into our belly breathing. Let's place our hands on the belly, thumbs near the navel and pinkies near the hip bones. And we're going to gently breathe into the tummy, into the belly, letting the belly button rise towards the ceiling on the inhale and gently fall back to the ground on your exhale. We're gently breathing in and out of the belly, which uses our diaphragm and gives us a more complete breath. Move with your own breath, continuing to breathe into the belly. And this helps slow down the nervous system, activating the parasympathetic nervous system, allowing our body to rest and digest. This is a nice time to give our body a break from daily stress and to bring the mind and body together. Just allow yourself to take time for you and to slow down in this moment. As you connect to your breath, allow yourself to come into the present moment, bringing your awareness inwards. Continue for another breath, and then let go of that practice, gently releasing it and bringing your arms back to your sides, coming into a resting breath, just allowing the body to breathe naturally, not forcing anything. should be effortless, flowing with ease. Now we're going to move into our chest to abdomen breath, placing our one hand on the chest and the other hand on the belly. Bringing the chest to abdomen breath into our practice. On the inhales, we allow a sense of expansion to take place in the center of the chest and in the rib cage, drawing air into the lungs, allowing the rib cage to move outward in all directions. And on the exhale, gently contracting the lower abdomen from the pubic bone to the belly button. Inhale into the chest, expanding in all directions. Exhale, contracting the lower abdomen, bringing the belly button to the spine and up if possible, if that's comfortable for you. And inhaling, expanding the chest from right to left, from front to back, from top to bottom. And exhaling as if you were zipping up a pair of jeans. Completing each inhale and completing the exhales. Allowing the body to connect to the breath. The lower abdomen contraction allows us to protect the spine and the lower lumbar during asana. So allow the spine to become longer with inhales. You can go for another 2 or 3 rounds of breath, expanding into the chest and the ribs, contracting. You can gently maintain that contraction in the lower abdomen if it's comfortable during the inhale. And on your next exhale, you can release that practice and gently bring your arms back to your sides. Just settling into Shavasana, readjusting to find comfort. So inhale into the chest with a sense of expansion, and on the exhale, contracting the lower abs, bringing the knees into the chest, giving them a nice hug, and bringing our hands into a diamond shape like this. Placing it under the coccyx and using our arms in a rocking motion to bring ourselves up to seated. From seated, you can come onto your knees and come into standing. You can go slowly to avoid lightheaded or dizziness. So we're going to come into Samastiti, which is our neutral standing position, allowing all the toes to spread and to find ground beneath them, equally distributing our weight between the balls of the feet. Feet are under the hip, allowing the knees to be relaxed, not overextended, hyperextended, and just finding comfort in the pelvis, finding a neutral pelvis.
This is very uncomfortable. Like this.
Okay, maybe just a more neutral. Yeah, that's fine. And bringing the shoulder blades back and down, opening up the chest, and finding a long spine. You can put your hand on your head and grow into your hand to notice that length. I'll just take a moment to appreciate that length. On your next inhale, we'll bring the arms above the head. Exhale, contract the lower abdomen, gently rocking the hips back and reaching forward as you come into a forward fold, maintaining that long spine and gently releasing it when the hamstrings are tight. Here you can bend your knees so your chest comes to your thighs and let the head hang, bringing the chest closer to the chest, or your chin closer to the chest. Good. On the next inhale, keep your abdomen, your lower abdomen engaged, pressing into the feet, maintain a long spine, bringing the arms in front and extending them as you rise back into a standing position. Drop your shoulders, good, and exhale, relax. You can repeat that one more time. So inhale, arms above the head, drop the shoulders, and maintaining a long spine, reaching forward, hinging the hips, reaching until you meet your edge, and gently folding over, relaxing the head and the shoulders, bending the knees to bring the chest to the thighs, and bringing the chin to the chest. For an extra stretch, you can try and straighten your legs a little bit and relax. And on the next inhale, gently keep that lower abdomen contraction, reaching your arms, finding a long spine, and bringing yourself back up to standing, into Tadasana or Samastiti. Exhale, relaxing. Nice. So as we create conscious movement with the breath, we're going to move into Virabhadrasana 2 or warrior pose, stepping to the front of the mat, maintaining our Samastiti position of active grounding to the floor, relaxed knees, neutral pelvis, long spine, open chest. Take your left foot back to a little bit more. There we go. And our foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat, so your toes are pointing to the long edge. Good. and the front toes are pointing to the front short edge. Lifting the arches of the feet, so we have active feet, not the heels, just the arches. The hips are square to the long edge of the mat, good. And the crown of the head is growing up towards the ceiling. Inhale, arms extend out to shoulder length, shoulder height, long and strong. Shoulders are back and down, allowing the chest to be open and expansive. Exhale, we're drawing that lower abdomen in to support the spine, bending the right knee, gently keeping active and tall. We're stacking and tracking so the knee doesn't go over the toe or wobble from side to side. Good. It's over the ankle. Looking towards our front fingertips, which are our right fingers today, and breathing into that pose. That's good. Inhale into the chest and coming back to a neutral position in the center. Releasing that pose energetically, coming back to the front of the mat, finding our Samastiti, bringing the right foot behind us this time, right toes pointing to the long edge, left toes pointing to the short, and hips facing the long edge of the mat. Nice. Lifting our arches and feeling an active grounding. Inhale, lifting the arms to shoulder height, letting the chest stay open and shoulders back and down. Exhale, gently bend that left knee, allowing the hips to stay centered to the, or facing the long edge, and stacking and tracking that knee. It's good. Looking towards our front fingers, we can also turn the palms up. Breathing into the pose. And on your next exhale, gently release that pose and come back to center. We're now going to bring some movement into hip poses. So we'll come down into sitting with the knees bent in front of you. Nice. And with a long spine, we'll bring our backs to the ground. So our heels are a bit closer to the buttock. Nice. A little bit more, almost under the knees. Perfect. And in this next asana, we're going to invite a further development of breath. So we're allowing our minds to bring awareness to qualities of Durga and Sukshma, which are steadiness and smoothness of breath. So perhaps just allow yourself to notice where your breath is at this moment, and if you can perhaps gently steady the breath and the mind. Gently allowing yourself to let that govern your movement. So with the qualities of Durga and Sukshma, we're going to move into Dvipada Pitam, pressing our feet into the ground on the inhale. We're going to lift our hips towards the ceiling. And activating asana. Good. And gently bring your hips back down to the ground. Okay. Find balance in the body, so bring your shoulder blades together. Nice open chest. Arms are down at your sides. And your head. Just place the den slightly back and up, bringing the chin close to the chest. Inhale, pressing the feet into the ground, lifting the hips towards the sky. Holding for a couple of breaths. And on your next exhale, gently bring the hip back to the ground through the vertebra. And I'll do it one more time. On your next inhale, you can press into the ground, lift the hips. Almost sending your knees in front of you forwards, creating a long torso and upper leg. Moving with your own breath. On the exhale, coming back down. Good. Bringing the knees to the chest. Giving them a hug. And then gently rocking back and forward just to roll up the spine a little bit. Coming to seated on the rocker. Good. We're going to move into Ustrasana. So fold over your legs and come into a kneeling position. For Ustrasana, we invite extension into the spine, which is what we often call back bend. So we'll come up into kneeling with the knees under the hips. Good. And pressing the tops of the feet into the mat to feel nice and supported, and placing the hands on the lower back. On the inhale, tucking the tailbone under and lengthening the spine. We're gently going to exhale slowly and lean back, rolling the shoulders back and expanding the chest. Nice. Leave your head chin close here for now. Good. Bringing the hands to the soles of the feet one at a time. Inhale. Exhale. Bringing one hand to the foot and the other. If this is comfortable, if it's not, we can do one hand at a time. So bring one hand and stay there. Opening up the chest, so bringing your left shoulder a bit open. Good. And if you want, you can let the head rock back. I find that a bit uncomfortable. You can just let it hang wherever. And coming back to the lower back. And allowing the hips to come forward again. Inhale. Exhale, bringing the other hand to the sole of the foot. Keeping the chest open and the spine long if possible. You can look up to the ceiling. Good. And gently bringing ourselves back to center. I'm going to try that one more time. Just be gentle. If it hurts, actually if it's not comfortable, we can come back to child's pose. So moving a bit back on the mat, letting the knees come out a bit, sitting onto the back of your feet, and reaching forward, allowing your chest and armpits to come to the mat. Just taking a few breaths. Or you can bring your arms down to the sides of your legs as well, which is also quite comforting. Whenever you're in a sequence and it feels too much, always come back to child's pose for a break. Cool. Comfortable. Let's come to standing. And we're going to come into the samastiti, so reminding ourselves of active feet grounding, long spines, neutral pelvis, gentle knees, and open chest. Taking one foot back into a wide stance. Toes are parallel to the long edge of the mat, if that's comfortable, or you can keep them slightly open. I know that's more comfy for you. And we're moving into spinal flexion, which is more like forward bending, allowing space to be in the spine and the vertebra, into Prasarita Parattanasana. So the feet are parallel or a little bit open for your comfort and a comfortable distance. As we inhale, bring our arms up to the sky, above our heads. Inhaling, if you can turn to face my side to see me, good. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale, gently engaging the lower abdomen, finding the contraction first before we're moving down. Keeping a long spine, reaching forward, forward, folding gently, or releasing the arms or placing them on the hips. Allowing the spine to stay long and feeling a stretch in our hamstrings. Allowing the lower back to release and keeping the knees bent if that's more comfortable, allowing yourself to drop forward. Yeah. Breathe into this pose for a bit. Good. And on the next inhale, pressing the feet into the mat, engaging the lower abdomen, micro bending the knees and bringing your hands to your hips. Keep the spine long, opening the chest as you rise back up to standing, reaching the arms up, and gently releasing that pose energetically. So comfy. And we'll do that one more time. So inhale, arms up to the sky. Exhale, extension, reaching up, keeping the shoulders down, good. And reaching as we fold forwards. You can bring our hands to the hips as well. As you meet your edge, release the upper back, bend the knees slightly, allowing space in the lower back. Nice head position there. And breathe into the pose for around a breath or two. And on the next inhale, lengthening that spine, opening up the chest, and rising up to standing. Good. Bringing the arms up on the inhale and releasing that pose. Nice. We'll come back into a sitting pose for some spinal twists. So we're allowing some twist and movement in the torso. you can begin in Vajrasana, which is kneeling. We're sitting on the heels, and you can just rock to one side. Good. Let me rock onto the same side as you. Onto the left, shifting your hips so that you're sitting on the floor to the left of your feet. Bring your right foot just outside of your knee. Good. Placing it nice and firmly on the ground. Bring the right hand just behind us, pressing into the ground to create a long spine, and that left elbow, good, just on that left knee, twisting the upper body from the belly button, allowing the top half to twist, facing the long edge of the mat, looking over your right shoulder. You can release that arm throughout the front arm. Keep your right hand pushing into the ground, allowing it to be a long, tall twist. Inhale and exhale. Following your own breath. On the exhale, come back to center. Good. Coming back to Vajrasana and rolling onto your other side, your right side. Bringing the left leg to the right knee and the left hand just behind us, pressing into the ground to give us a nice long back and spine, and bringing the right elbow just behind the left knee. Good. Allowing the top half of the torso to twist, so from the belly button to the shoulders. On the exhale, allowing the body to twist, opening up, looking over your left shoulder. Breathing into this pose a couple of times with your own breath. Keeping a nice long spine. And on your next exhale, gently coming back to the center. So you can stay in Vajrasana. If it's not comfortable, I often use a pillow under my bottom. We're moving into Paschim Namaskarasana, which is stretching the shoulders and the chest. So to invite more breath development into our asana, we're going to alter our breath into Ujjayi breath or ocean breath, which helps us unify the mind and the body. So if you can imagine you're holding a piece of glass in your hand and you're going to fog it up with your breath, you would go almost gently contracting the back of the throat. Good. We're going to invite that gentle contraction on the back of the throat into our breathing. You can listen to what it sounds like on me, just to get. So you're constricting your breath very gently, and it slows down and allows the inhales and exhales to become longer. So let's just do a round of that together. If that's comfortable, you can bring it into your asana. If not, you can just focus on Dirga and Sukshma, keeping steady and smooth breathing. So for Paschim Namaskarasana, we're going to open the shoulder and muscle joints by bringing the shoulders, bringing your arms behind your back, aiming to join the fingertips together and joining the palms together. So our fingertips are facing the top of the back, coming into prayer pose behind the back, but not pushing yourself too hard. It's much harder behind the back. If you'd like to, you can also just gently touch the fingers together if that helps, or squish and gently move your hands up the back to find a closer position. But just focus on allowing the shoulders to be back and the chest to be open. And release that pose. Just shaking out the hands slightly. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm just going to come look a bit behind you while we do it. Oh, you're good at that. So that's a nice open chest and open shoulders. Beautiful. Just bring some breath awareness into the posture. And on the exhale, bringing them back to your sides and just rolling out the wrists if they're a bit sore. We're moving into our final asana, which is Viparita Karini, or shoulder stand. And so we're going to begin by lying on our backs, so keeping a long spine, gently rolling down into Shavasana. Our lying down pose. Yeah, you can move the pillow. Good. And on. So finding your resting position. Can move your feet further from the midline. So yeah, good. Create some space there. And opening up the chest. Good. And on your next inhale, we're lifting our feet towards the sky. So bringing your legs up and bringing the soles of the feet towards the sky. And you're gently going to lift your hips and lower back from the floor. So using your hands for support, you can rock your hips back and hold it there just a little bit. Just get familiar with the position. And you can come back down to lie, or with your knees gently here. Whatever's comfortable. Okay, so we'll move into that. Bringing the hands ready to push the body up with the hands. So pressing into the ground with the hands. Using the elbows as support. Good. And supporting the hips with our hands. Our torso is at an angle and our feet are pointing towards the ceiling. Good. So this is like a half pose. If you want to, you can try and bring your toes overhead if that's comfortable, or you can just keep your legs in the sky. And gently, while bringing the knees closer to the face, bring your hands back down to the ground. You can slowly roll through the spine, coming back to Shavasana. We're going to do that one more time. So inhale, lifting feet to the sky and using our hands to push up the hips. Good. Supporting the hips with our hands and keeping, if there's any
there's too much pressure on the neck, you can come back down and maybe extending the feet over. Good. Nice. And you can gently on the exhale bring your hips back down to the ground slowly through the spine and come back into Shavasana and just resting. So just notice how your body feels after the movement. We've invited into the room. Noticing the breath. And perhaps noticing where the mind wanders. Just observing. When you're ready and comfortable, you can come back up to a seated position. As we release our yoga practice for today. Namaskar. And thank you to the ancestors for this lovely practice. Thank you.